Hey, what's up, my friend? Are you a small business owner that loves God, family, country, and capitalism? If so, you found the perfect freaking YouTube channel. This is the War Plan Briefing, and my name is Joshua Latimer. I'm super happy you're here. I want you to go faster, make more money, change the world, and raise entrepreneurial kids that also change the world. It's going to be amazing. Today, we're going to talk about 5 keys to make the most impossible sale. Okay? This isn't a typical sales video, but it's powerful if you understand where I'm going with this, because, not all sales are created equal. Not all customers are created equal, right? I remember my first real business was a service company in Michigan, just south of Flint, Michigan. If you've ever heard of Flint, it's not exactly a tourist destination, but shout out to Flint and all my people, the OGs. Here's the thing. I started a cleaning business, and it was really tiny, and we struggled, and we almost went broke 400 times, and then it started to work. And it started to work for really one core reason. It's because I started systemizing the business. I started looking at it different. But the other big reason it started to work is because my belief started to change and increase. I started to get around people that were ahead of me, that were 1 or 2 or 3 chapters ahead of me. And I could see, you're not a genius, but you're doing 5 times more revenue than me. But I'm pretty sure we're about the same, like, intellectually, and our markets are the same, but I'm doing 5 times less than you. What's up with that? And so my belief would be like, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Like Thomas the Train, I think I can. And when it comes to sales, they're not all equal. Some are laydowns. You've heard that phrase. It's a laydown. Someone calls you. They're like, here, take my money. You don't even have to sell me. They're just ready to go. Those are fun. We love those, right? Some you have to work for. I remember with that service company, we got a contract with General Motors, and it was worth, millions of dollars over many years. It was like $300,000 to $400,000 per year cleaning windows for freaking General Motors. And the crazy part, it was only one of their properties. It was a big property near Detroit. But here's what's crazy. So my business partner, Chris Phillips, he secured that deal for us. He did all this. But this sale took forever. It took freaking forever. It took forever. We had to do a bunch of little jobs on some of their little properties. We had to bend over backwards and do all this stuff. We had to follow up. We had to send quotes. We were quoting stuff all the time, and they wouldn't hire us for it. And then they just hire us for 1 or 2. And then we're trying to learn the inner workings of the bureaucracy of a giant corporation like that, which was brand new to us. And we're figuring it out. We're building relationships. Chris was really the one building the relationships, but he built a relationship with a guy named LL. And LL was kind of his inside man, his coach. And LL really helped us understand how to navigate, to get in front of the right people, to do what we needed to do to secure a multi-7-figure cleaning contract. It was amazing, but it was tons of work. It took forever. It took over a year, and we did lots of things, lots of trips back and forth to Detroit, driving for nothing, believing in faith that would happen. That's a hard sale to get, but you know what the even harder sale is? The hardest sale in the world is not General Motors. It's not your big high-ticket whale client. The hardest sale you're ever going to make is to yourself. It's believing that success is possible, not in general, but that it's possible specifically for you. And this does not apply to everybody. I get it. There's lots of narcissists. There's lots of people that do not have a confidence problem, okay? I'm guessing you already clicked off this video by now. But for the people that are left, maybe you have an ego to mask your insecurity. Maybe you put on a public-facing version of yourself to act like you got it figured out, but you're really drinking at night. You're stressed out at night. You're full of anxiety. There's other things going on, right? Look, the hardest sale to make is to ourselves, but once you make it, everything can change for you. Everything can freaking change for you, because you will never become the thing that you despise. Meaning, if you think wealth is wicked, you're never going to be successful and get wealth, because why would you become the thing that you hate? That's true, but you know what else is true? If you don't believe that you are worthy of success, if you don't believe it's possible for you, it's not going to happen, because you're going to keep chopping your own legs out from under you as you get momentum. Here's the first thing. We have 5 keys. The first one, I need you to understand that your stories are going to make you rich. Oh God, this is so good. So people think that when bad things happen to them, that is evidence that they're not destined for success. One of my personal business heroes, a guy named Peter J. Daniels. No one knows who this guy is. He's from Australia. He's in his 90s. I think he's battling Parkinson's now, but it's crazy. His story, he was 25 years old before he even learned to read. He could not read at 25. He was an illiterate bricklayer. He tells this in some of the obscure YouTube videos you can find of Peter J. Daniels telling his life story. He talks about how he had, I think it was 4 generations of poverty and criminals in his history. And he would make jokes about it, but you got to understand the frame of reference from someone like that. Totally poor, a bunch of losers, a bunch of criminals. He always joked that his family members got free room and board from King George, meaning they were in prison. Anyway, it's funny because Australia is under the UK crown. Anyway, here's the deal. The stories that happen to you are worth millions to you. The thing that you think is bad, that is evidence that you're not allowed to succeed, is actually the platform on which someday you will succeed. You know, have you ever heard the quote that your mess becomes your message, or that your test becomes your testimony, right? What feels like a setback is really a setup. Yeah, these are warm, fuzzy, cheesy kind of motivational things to say, but they're 100% true. They're 100% true. I have a little model Corvette that's normally, oh, it is sitting back there. Let me show you that. This little toy car right here has a ladder on the roof of it, which is just a joke to me. It's an inside joke because I bought a Corvette this year. The license plate says Warplan, by the way, which is pretty cool. So I have this car. Now, why do I have this? I have it because it's a story that's made me millions of dollars. When I started my very first company, it was a window cleaning business in Michigan, and I had a ladder strapped to the roof of a 1993 Chevy Cavalier. And that Chevy Cavalier was cherry red, okay? It didn't look like this cool Corvette race car thing. It was this piece of crap $1,000 car that had rust holes in it. It was ridiculous, and I had a ladder on the roof. It rubbed all the paint off the roof of this car. This car was not only dangerous, but it was embarrassing. I would hide my car when I would go to do estimates. I would hide it, okay? I would literally listen to cassette tapes of like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Tony Robbins. I'd be trying to learn, trying to motivate myself to go knock on doors so people could be mean to me as I try to sell window cleaning. But I didn't want them to see my embarrassing car, so I'd hide the car around the corner, right? And I would go knock another door and go knock another door and go knock another door. Then I'd go home, sometimes with nothing, and I'd go home to a trailer park where I would meet my wife for dinner that we had to eat at home out of canned food or TV dinners because we had no money. Why do I tell you that? I tell you that because that story was not a setback. That story was a setup. It depends on how you look at it. You know, the flat tire you get on the way to close the deal that messes everything up, that is not some determining factor of your future. It's an opportunity for you, an opportunity for you to have a setup, to have a testimony, but you got to make it through the test. People believe that they can't succeed because bad things happen to them. I got news for you, baby. Bad things happen to all of us. It rains on the just and the unjust alike. That's the Bible. Go read your Bible, people. It's amazing. So that's the first key, is understand that your stories, the things that you think are bad, are actually a platform for you. You could be a speaker, you could be an author, you could be a coach, you could be a consultant, you could be a CEO, you could be a TED Talk giver. You can change the world with your stories. I get excited when I have difficulties now because I tell my wife, and if she ever sees this video, I make so many of these, I don't think she watches them all, but if she sees this, she'll tell you. If you meet her, if you're at an event and you see us, ask her, what does Josh say when something bad happens? She'll say, this is what she'll say. Oh, I'm super excited for what that story is going to turn into. That is such a valuable story. I say things like that. Number 2, the second key to make the most impossible sale to yourself is to understand that you are smart enough. Okay? Some people think they're too dumb. And the irony, the pure irony of most of the people that think that is that they're smarter than the people that think they're smart. The Dunning-Kruger effect says that people with a high IQ tend to underestimate their abilities. And people with a low IQ tend, on average, not everybody, but on average, to overestimate their abilities. This is your cousin, Igor, with the hold my beer guy, right? He's not that smart. Well, he's lovable. We love Igor, but he's like the hold my beer guy. He's not that smart, but he thinks he can do anything. Or Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, right? Back in '78, I could throw a football a quarter mile, right? These people think they're amazing. They're just not. But the people that actually are amazing, like you probably have a heart of gold. You probably have ethics and honor and integrity. You probably do the right thing when no one's looking. You're not perfect, but you care about your staff. You care about your customers. Like, you're doing it right. You think that you suck. You think that you're not smart. It's ridiculous. The exact opposite is true. One of the popular quotes that I like is never meet your heroes. So whoever you look up to, whoever you think is really cool, be really careful and make sure that you're sure before you meet them in real life. And meeting them in real life still isn't real. You don't really know someone unless you spend time with them in their home, with their family, over, days. But when you do meet your heroes, what you find out really quick is that they're not magical. They don't have superpowers. They're incredibly flawed people. Definitely me. Like you'd be utterly disappointed if you hung out with me for 48 hours. I promise you, okay? I am quirky. I get irritable. I have all these personality flaws, all these things. And I'm quiet, like it's boring. There's nothing that magical happening. The big difference between people that are crushing it and everybody else is the level of action is different. The level of belief is different. My belief is bigger now, and I take action and I stay consistent when the 20 years ago version of me would not have done that. But you are smart enough. The third key to making the most impossible sale is to admit to yourself and believe to be true that money is not your constraint. Money is not the problem. Your lack of resources is not the problem, baby. It's your lack of resourcefulness. You do not need more money. You need more resourcefulness. Almost never is money the actual constraint. It's a placeholder excuse to make you feel good about yourself for not trying. That's what that is. And sorry if I just dunked on you and was mean, but it's the truth. And I say it because I love you and I care about you. You do not need more money. You need more resourcefulness. You need more belief. You need to take action because action creates clarity. That's what's needed, not money. Let's recap real quick. Your stories are going to make you rich. They're not a setback, they're a setup. Number 2, you're smart enough. Never meet your heroes because they're not as cool and smart as you think they are, and you are smarter than you think you are. Number 3, money is not the constraint. Your lack of resources is not the reason that you're stuck. It's your lack of resourcefulness, finding a way to do it without the resources. And then as a person that does that, yeah, money will come and you'll have the capital. Number 4 is it feels slow, and that's okay. So the five keys to make the most impossible sale. The fourth one is, look, it feels slow and that's okay. What that means is you have to reframe your brain on how long it's supposed to take for you to achieve mastery of something. Do you really think that you're supposed to just make millions of dollars really quickly with very low effort? Do you think that's normal? Is that natural? Is that how nature works? Is that how most millionaires became millionaires? No, the answer is no, okay? And it's okay that it's slow because it's not that slow. Tony Robbins famously says that people overestimate what they can do in a year and they underestimate what they can do in a decade. A decade is going to go by no matter what. Time is elapsing without your approval. It's just happening, right? So the time's going to go by. The question is, if you can't reconcile the fact that it takes thousands of hours to master something and that you need to focus on a single nail and hammer it all the way into the board, and you need to do things that scare you and that are boring that you don't like for an extended period of time. Like, these are non-negotiable truths about how to be successful. If you can't accept that, you're screwed. Okay, so when I talk about making the most impossible sale, selling yourself, we have to be dealing with truth and reality. And you might be telling yourself, I want it fast. It should happen fast. I've had my business for 2 years and I'm only doing $30,000 a month. I want to do $100,000 a month. Look, the reality is it's going to take longer than you thought. Who cares? Who cares? What are you going to do about it? You're going to cry about it? We have t-shirts made for our kids that say, it doesn't matter how hard it is. It only matters if it's worth it. So my question to you is the thing currently in your hand, the business that you're working on, is it worth it? Because if it is, who cares how long it takes? Relax, find joy in the journey, right? Among the other things, and you're going to it's going to go by this fast and you're going to have what you want. The fifth, last but not least thing to realize to make the most impossible sale, which is a sale to yourself, the belief in yourself, is to understand that you are worthy of success, that you deserve success. You're not lucky if you get success. It's to understand that in the kingdom of God, where God is the king and we are his children, it's normal, natural, and a standard to have abundance for the king's children. It's not weird to be successful. It's weird to struggle. Myron Goldenboy says the struggle ain't real unless you say it is. And people get really mad when he says that sometimes because they say, no, the struggle is real. And where the disconnect is what Myron is not saying is that you do not feel pain and suffering and emotional trauma as you try to be successful. Of course you do. But the weight at which you feel that is entirely predicated and dictated up to you. Like, it's up to you. You get to decide how painful it feels based on what you think it's supposed to feel like. And if you think luck is required and you got to have a trust fund and you're struggling, it's going to feel like the weight of the world. Have you ever wondered why some people just move through life and it feels like a feather? It's effortless and abundance comes to them. It's not because some magic spell that they did. It's not because of some fairy dust words that they say. It's not because of the law of attraction they're manifesting everything. It's probably because of the things we talked about here. They understand that when they have a setback, it's a setup. They have a positive attitude. They understand that they're smart enough to be really successful. And you do not have to be Elon Musk to make $10 million a year at all, okay? And most of the people that make a lot are disappointingly average, to be honest. So never meet your heroes. Number 3, money is not the constraint. If you're constantly just trying to get money, instead of changing who you are, leveling up your mindsets and your skill sets and your network and your belief, being more resourceful, that's what you focus on. And then we have it's slow and that's okay, meaning they're not in a rush. Right? A way to go faster is to not be in a rush. When you try to go faster, it actually slows you down. Did you know that? Think about that for a second. And then they understand that they're worthy, that they're allowed to have abundance. They understand that there's more than enough for everyone to have more than enough. And I understand that not everyone does have more than enough. I understand that there's more than enough food on the earth for everyone to have it, but there's people starving every day. There is evil in this world. Things are broken in this world. I recognize that. I understand that, but it doesn't change the reality that we do not have a lack of resources and that you are worthy. Okay? I hope that helps you. I hope it inspires you. I hope it motivates you to type a comment and let me know what you're thinking as you hear all this. What's going through your head? What do you struggle with? What are you wrestling with? What types of videos do you want to see in the future? You know, I really, truly care about you. I thank you for being here. Can you please share the channel, like it, hit the bell, actually subscribe to it. Let's get this thing going. We're the best kept secret on YouTube. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.